Hello, friends. I've met such amazing people through this process of sharing, and just thankful to those of you that asked for me to share, and to those of you that have reached out. It's really an honor to be a part of, and to hear like the feedback of what people are going through. Such incredible validation, like to hear people having experiences so similar but so unique to what I went through and what I'm going through. When we really are no longer dominated by the overall programming, there's just a natural process of discovery that takes place, an alignment. And you are so unique. And the richness of your story unveils your resources, your strength, your power, your tools. And we all come from the same thing, same place, but we're all going in different directions, only to return and to share, ultimately to return to that oneness. And as you and I and others become free from different limitations, we can observe and see how others are going through a process that we've gone through before, and that helps us to really understand the nature of humanity. We're in a system of intelligence that is constantly giving us direct feedback based on where we're at. And often we don't want to be receiving the feedback that we're being given, but when we acquiesce to that feedback, it's like a very specific lesson plan. It's really magical. And it leads to re-accessing the imagination of your inner child, which is the inner seer. To be able to see energy, having not seen energy before. For me, it happened really young. I'm so fortunate, in a dojo, having accessed an aspect because in particular martial arts, you can access your energy body. And that is your astral body. That is the part of you that is essentially immortal. Snowboarding on mushrooms at a young age and receiving the guidance of the mother in the powder, in the sun, in the snow, and just knowing that there's so much more to this world than what the majority of people are experiencing, and then making a bid, making a request to have access to that, on a sustainable, consistent means. And you're gonna go through some trials. To become authentic, you're gonna go through it. It's uncomfortable, but it's so worth it. And everything's happening, there's a lot of support. I mean, it's infinite support, but until we trust that support, we're timid. Or we try to bypass that timidness and try to act powerful and strong when we're not yet. And it's just getting really honest about where you're at is the key. Being humble, but also, coming to terms with how strong you are. But your imagination is not just yours, it's you tapping into this psychedelic creator force that is in place to reveal the most incredible just guidance through art, through the dreaming arts. This is a dream. We're dreaming right now. And this is just one of many dreams that we can be in. This is a vision. We are somewhere else. And we are in a unique state of perception in which we can have a vision that is so encompassing that we perceive it as reality, which they call it a reality. And there are multiple dimensions within each reality. And so we start slow and honor our potential and be open to becoming less dense, become lighter. And as you become lighter, you realize, oh, I have to be able to get grounded in order to handle this lightness. But it's when you stop taking yourself so seriously that you're able to laugh and cry in ways that you hadn't before. And you just start to feel all this heaviness lift. You start to feel strong when you learn how to ground, and everything gets really accessible. You discover through your longing your uniqueness. And it's your uniqueness that will allow you to access the most support, right? Because when you're a pioneer, when you're forging new territory, all these incredible insights become accessible, and that's the return on investment. If you are forging a new neural pathway, the universe sees and supports that in ways that are incomprehensible because it is seeking to become more conscious of itself through you. So celebrate your uniqueness and come out of this idea that you are here to do something that someone else talked about. You're here to know yourself so that you might know that which you are an extension of, and in that, through that alignment, you discover almost like it feels physical. It feels like you're accessing a new muscle, a part of you that you weren't taught about by your parents or school, or maybe in martial arts or in some shamanic training. But most people, or even in the really dynamic teachings, are still very programmed. Everything gets really culty. And I was sent into all kinds of cult-like situations in order to really understand that, to see all the trappings. And I'm not claiming to be free of anything yet. I'm on my journey. Recapitulation frees you, and it returns you to the most incredible memories, right? So I'm far enough in my recapitulation process that all day long, the most profound, beautiful memories that I couldn't possibly have remembered just come to me. And I'm just still just in shock. I'm still pretty much have PTSD from it, but I'm okay with that. We all do. We all went through, we've all been MK Ultra or whatever you want to call it. We've all been programmed, because that program isn't something that you can avoid by being raised by wolves. Even the program is, there's no separation. Everything's right here, and yet it's not. Like, there's layers of the onion, and so because we're all caught in this particular layer currently, we're very close. We're not far from each other. We're just all dealing with the same sort of scenario. So we want to honor each other and have compassion for where each and every person is. And because there's an overall sort of script, right? Because, shamans discover that they have access to not only their past, but to their future. Because it's all really, it's all linked. It's all, the design, Spirit's design is just like so incredible. It's incomprehensible. And so rather than try to make sense of it, one becomes in awe of it. And then their longing kicks in, and their passion is accessed from that longing. And when you learn how to stay outside of the program for long periods of time, you develop an internal power, and your longing increases, and your love for your existence intensifies. And then you learn how to handle intensity, and that intensity teaches you about timelessness. And then timelessness leads to eternity. And eternity is what they call the dark sea of awareness. And when you learn how to do dreaming and travel in the infinite, even for just a second, it purifies you. That's why shamans, the only thing they really talk, or at least in the Castaneda books, the only thing they talk about in the realm of purification is the recapitulation, because it in itself is suffice. It will lead you to taking really good care of yourself, and you will purify in other ways. And yes, you're very unlikely to be able to recapitulate unless you deal with your temple and take good care of yourself. But it's the guilt and shame for not doing that eats you up more than anything. So your passion leads you to your desire, and your desire is going to help you to understand, what really does it for you. And when you stop feeling guilt or shame about that, then you really get to know yourself, and then that leads to impeccability. Where discipline is really a repression, and it makes you think that you're doing great things when in fact you're just following another program. Deprogram. Come out of the program and become spontaneous, become mysterious. Allow yourself to unbind from those limitations that everyone around you is upholding, so that you can discover your incredible uniqueness, access your imagination, which is that divinity, that art, that lucidity, that traveling. We are travelers. We're meant to access tremendous amounts of joy. And it is through joy that we become light. And in order to do dreaming, we have to become light. Take very little from this world. Only what we truly want. Not the extra. Not, might as well. there's a way to listen to the part of you that is most alive, and that will lead you to feeling very empowered. Love is very real, and it's not separate from you. It's not something outside of you. It's not something to go and discover through other. But if and when you do discover your love for this realm, this is a realm. It's a very powerful realm. It has all the things we need, all the lessons. It's a tragic comedy. It's bittersweet. You can slow it all down. Slow your thoughts. Access your feelings. So much is available to you. To learn, to unlearn, to gain knowledge, to release it, to let it all go, to let go and let God, whatever that is for you. It doesn't matter how much personal power you have, it's how much you trust that personal power. Don Juan would say personal power is kind of similar to luck. Some people have a lot of personal power, but they usually use it for social power. They get caught in the material, but the material isn't, there's no freedom in it, because you are not a physical being, and so you're attaching to something that doesn't even exist. But when you get a hug from someone who's amazing, or when you're touched by the beauty of the sun, when you're gazing at the rain and you transcend the limitations of what you think would be a gray, dull day of boredom, and it becomes heaven on earth. You know, there are realms outside of this realm that we'd call heaven or hell, but this place is heaven and hell, depending on how you experience it as well. There's nowhere to go. You don't need to go in other layers of the onion. But you do need to become light enough to have access so that you can enjoy this realm. Once you know that, once you have a reference point, something, an experience that helps you see that you are not a physical being, helps you understand that, then something kicks in. It's truly incredible. And I hope for each one of you that, that will happen. You know, it happens upon when we die. That discovery is made, but to have that discovery happen prior, so you can spend the rest of your life, you know, having access to the ecstatic. Your energy gates, which they call chakras, all have blocks. It's certain stages of life, and when those blocks are free, moved, shifted, become healthy and start to work in the way that they were designed to, there's nothing like that. I remember the first time I had my whole system open up. I was in a really magical place, and I was recapitulating in this like cave where there was two entrances, and the wind was really intense, and so there was wind coming in from both sides, and it was just so intense that and I was going pretty deep, and it was like because it was coming at me from two different directions, and it had nowhere to go but through me, and it opened me. But I was so fortunate. I've been so fortunate to have so many unique helpers walking me through this process. Beautiful friends that have left this stream and have become helpers from on the other side. And because of that, they've taught me how to dance and explore through seeing, taught me how to listen and observe and know where to go and when to go and why I'm going, and they helped me discover myself. They didn't try to make me like them. They just lent me a part of their being that was conscious in ways that I wasn't, so that I can be a student to them. So it's okay to learn from others. Just because I want you or you long to become unique doesn't mean you can't train. I'm mentoring some really, really amazing people, and their breakthroughs are just so incredible to be a part of. I'm so honored. Um, there's just so much validation when you realize how, even though we're unique, how alike we all are, how interconnected all things are. Appreciate everyone, and hope that your days become lighter and your joy becomes accessible. And you know, it's key to accessing your power and your anger and your not, your depths. You want to know what you're capable of, and so the universe is going to give you challenges to see, not to see because the universe knows, but for you to see what you're made of. Right? That's how, I mean, I'm going through it so intensely. It's not like because I've had these breakthroughs that the challenges increase. And that's why everyone's scared to do this work, because they know that their challenges will intensify. But this is it. Might as well do it. You're going to die anyways. Comfort is a trap, it's an illusion. So when you expand your comfort zone, you start to understand your potential. But celebrate your uniqueness. Look in the mirror, gaze into your eyes, turn off your thoughts, and see and remember there's a part of you forgot about. So enjoy what days we have left, and make them really long by slowing everything down and feeling everything as much as possible, and just know that this realm is simply a feeling. You are a feeling, and everything in it is a feeling. And when you have the courage to really feel all of your feelings, then they will surface and move through you, so that there's no more blocks in your energy gates, and you'll be really walking in a new way. Shamans walk a lot to shed their being. I used to have to walk a lot, and I don't have to anymore. I could do it different, right? I can do dreaming instead or whatever, but until your body wants to move, enjoy your body while you have it. Shamans eventually burn from the fire within, and their body becomes pure energy, and they take it with them into eternity, and they merge with the Earth Mother. She is an ultra conscious, incredible being that will give you what's called the Earth's boost, and will lift you up out of this realm into different layers of her being. And it's the most romantic, passionate love there exists. It's way beyond the sexual. It's into, because sexual energy and dreaming energy are the same thing. There's a force that has convinced us to make use of that energy only for the physical. But since there is no physical, we can turn that energy into something much more sustainable. So reclaim your youthful energy, access shamanic movement, martial art movement, tap into your intuition so that your body's moving very freely. Be like water, be like fire, be like the ether, be like air, be like the earth. Become playful and just celebrate your existence. Thank you, friends.